Welcome to Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta with Jump Consulting, and today I am here with my longtime friend, Kate McQuillan. How are you?
I am fantastic, Bella. It's great to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who haven't figured it out yet, just by her hello, Kate is located in Ireland, and she is the, how do I even say it? I want to say like the queen of pet sitting in the entire country. And I can say that because her Facebook page boasts 35,000 people on it. And today, I mean, Kate has just really, I've known you from kind of right when you and your husband started it. And as you guys started expanding and just watching you explode and then going to franchising and then doing this Nose of Trillily, am I saying it right? Competition?
You are? Yeah.
Okay. And today I really want our listeners to take from you first a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you're at, but also the main lesson today I want is to be about consistency because everyone is going to be in shock and awe of what you've been able to do. But I really want to drive home the main lesson today about you have been consistent for years, Kate. As
Mm.
long as I've known you, you may have had your ups and downs personally or professionally or whatever, but you have maintained consistent in your determination to succeed. So, Kate, why don't you bring us back a little bit? Tell us about how you started your company and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, we started Pet Sitters Island back in 2010, and it was actually a friend of mine in the UK was doing cat sitting for a few of her local neighbours. And there was nothing like that here in Ireland. She was actually in the UK. And it got me thinking, like, I never liked putting our pets in kennels. And this just seemed like the perfect opportunity. Obviously, it's huge in America, but it never really was here. So we had to look into it. We did a few surveys just to see if there really was a market for it in Ireland, and there definitely was. So we started kind of local, and because we were getting so many hits to the website, even with the worst website in the world, it was terrible. We were getting so many inquiries from all over Ireland. We just immediately decided to just hire and cover all of Ireland. And that was really how we just jumped into it, not knowing really anything about pet sitting or dog walking at all. I instantly fell in love with social media. If you know me, you'll know that I love social media, blogging, content marketing, whatever you want to call it. And that's really what's been the catalyst for the growth of our business. And like Bella said, I am very, very consistent most of the time. Um, but I just consistently have plugged away at blogging, at social media, at just constantly talking to our ideal customers. And I think that's what's given us the kind of catalyst to grow month on month and year on year. It's been absolutely fantastic to go from just a tiny little idea to now a nationally franchised business is, quite amazing.
It is very amazing. I am in
Yeah.
awe of you, and I always love learning from you. We'll talk about more of this at the end, but you actually have a whole academy for pet sitters that, I mean, because you've been so successful, I always say, learn from the best, like follow people that you want to be like. And Kate, you're one of those people that the pet sitters and dog walkers listening right now should totally check you out, look at the academy, see if it's for them. What do you do in that academy?
Basically, I have just taken everything that we have done with our business. So, all the tactics that we've used, all the examples of things that we've done, and just put it into a membership group. So, you can pay to be part of the membership and you can access not just seeing on my blog or my Facebook page what I'm doing, but actually how I did it. So,
Yeah.
kind of like the steps. I know we're going to be talking about the competition, and in there it gives you the guide to exactly, A to B as to what I did. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
That's awesome. So it's the woman behind the curtains, what you've been doing in the kitchen.
Exactly. I don't spend much time in the kitchen though.
So I'll admit it, us Americans are typically a little bit, I'm going to use the word ignorant. It might be a little harsh word, but we don't quite understand the capacity or the size of things. So while you were just talking, I actually just Googled so that our listeners who are walking dogs, driving, making food, Ireland is about the size of, according to Google, Indiana, the state of Indiana. So it's
Okay.
essentially like Kate has taken over the entire state of Indiana and become the pets that are for that. So if that can help put a little perspective for you as to how big or small Ireland is. We all think Ireland's small, but we're like, it's actually pretty large in relation. I don't
It
know any
is,
pet sitting
yeah.
company that's actually servicing an entire state. So I wanted to put that in perspective for people. So take me back. I want to talk about this nose of Trillily. And how did you come up with the name? What was your first year like? What was your initial motivation to do it?
I had been wanting to do a competition for ages. I think what a lot of people misunderstand about competitions is it isn't about running a competition and I'm going to get 20 new dog walking clients out of it. It's more about brand awareness. And for us to actually franchise our business and become that brand that we needed to be, we needed to have more brand awareness. And, we can't afford huge, TV ads and, massive radio campaigns all over Ireland, nor would I want to spend that kind of money. And a competition seemed quite a cheap and easy way to kind of get that brand out. But rather than do something like, cutest dog or waggiest tail or something like that, we wanted something that the press particularly were going to get behind, because press aren't going to report on us doing a dog competition. It's not really that newsworthy. But if you can have a good hook behind it, something that's fun or quirky,
Uh-huh.
definitely local press will cover it for you. So there is a competition that runs every year in Ireland. You can Google it. It's called the Rose of Tralee, and it's not really a beauty pageant. It's kind of developed from that. It used to be, but it's competing with all of the 32 counties in Ireland, and girls enter and they are judged on. It's essentially, it's not meant to be on looks, but it's meant to be on kind of like, your hobbies, your interests, your speaking ability, all these types of things. And it's very, very famous. It's been around for years. It's on every single year. It's on TV. It's absolutely huge. And love it or hate it, it is a massive part of Irish culture. So we just came up with the idea to run a pet version of the competition. So instead of the Rose of Tralee, it was the Nose of Tralee. Very few competitions in Ireland are for all animals. So that was another thing. We wanted it to be completely inclusive.
Uh-huh.
So any animal could enter. We've had pigs, horses, turtles. Oh, you name it, we've had it. Now, primarily the biggest audience is dogs and cats, but we have had sort of unusual animals in there too. And what's happened with it is it's become something that's very fun. It makes a great headline because it's run at the same time as the Rose of Tralee. The papers go crazy to compare the current rose with the current nose. And we actually get roses taking photos with the noses. So the way the competition works is there's 32 counties in Ireland, and there's 32 opportunities to be a nose and a rose. So what tends to happen is, you'll get the Rose of Kildare taking a picture with the nose. So they get in the paper.
Oh my
And the
God,
fun
I
thing
am
about
dying right now. Like, this is hilarious. I love
I'll
this.
have to I'll have to send you the link to some of the pictures that have got in the paper because they're fantastic. So yeah, it's just been so fun, and I think because it is unusual, because it's so timely with the same time as the competition, and there's not much happening that time of year in kind of Irish news. It is just all about the Rose of Tralee that time of year. So we've just been very fortunate that the press have been so good to us. We've been on TV,
Yeah.
we've been in papers, on the radio, and very rarely have I actually done anything to get this press. It all has just kind of come to us.
Yeah.
So it has been quite phenomenal.
That's incredible. I'm so entertained just listening. I mean,
Yeah,
I've known you've been doing this for so long. We've had a lot of conversations, but each time we have a conversation, it gets even more and more and more. So take
yeah.
me back to like that first year. You're like, okay, I want
Yeah.
to do it. Like, what kind of turnout did you have? Like, what mistakes did you make? And what did you learn really stuck like glue, you know?
The first year was quite small. I never anticipated the amount of press that we would get. We put a few Facebook ads to get people to enter. It was all kind of quite casual. It's been the same format. The format has never changed year after year.
Yeah.
Um, and we got about, I think, four or so hundred entries, 400 or 500, something like that. So, it was a decent kind of turnout.
That's amazing.
Um, We didn't have any sponsors. We gave the prizes ourselves. So we had a pet photographer on board
Uh,
from the beginning, and then we just gave prizes, hampers of goodies and stuff. So it was pretty low key. We probably got in about 10 or 12 papers that year, which I was absolutely amazed about.
mhm.
The Sunday papers covered us, which is huge here in
Yeah.
Ireland if you get in the Sunday papers. And we had great press. I suppose the one thing that I learned in the first year is how seriously people take it
Mhm.
and how you really need to have good rules in place and you need to have a really, really tough skin. I was absolutely amazed at how upset people get. I mean, you probably remember me going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they said this
Yeah.
to me." People got so invested in it. And over the years, I suppose you do become a little bit more tough to comments people make
Sure.
and become a little bit stricter about the guidelines and the rules. So as the competition has grown, we've had to become more rigid about what people can and can't do. Specifying, you can't get somebody to sponsor you personally and put their logo on posters. And people had T-shirts made and all sorts. It got, a little bit crazy. But the first year was a big learning in terms of it was a big learning in terms of rules. That was a big thing for me. Just making sure that people were very clear on what they could and couldn't do, how you became a winner, and that if you didn't win, that's okay too.
Oh
But it
my
was fun.
gosh. It's so funny. You mentioned you didn't have sponsors the first time, but you did have a pet photographer. I'm wondering, I want to like kind of talk a little bit about the ripple effect that this has had. So obviously you're getting all this publicity and press. I imagine that pet photographer got a lot of exposure or clients from it too, or reaped a lot of, did he?
Yeah.
Or, and then as you
Yeah.
grew
Over
your
the
sponsors, I imagine they get a lot of publicity or,
Yeah, over the years, I suppose the sponsorship element of it has grown. Um, we've never gone for a main headline sponsor because we've
good
always
too.
wanted it to be the Pet Sitters Island nose of
Of course.
Tralee. I
Yeah,
think I think if you get a sponsor that's too big, it can kind of overshadow you a little bit.
sure.
So we've always been very clear that it's Pet Sitters Island nose of Tralee competition. But the sponsors get huge mentions, like they get mentions in the paper. They can send gifts out to the 32 finalists. They get a lot of free press because, you're talking about their ideal customers. We partner with brands that match kind of our prices and our type of customers. So this year we had Pod Tracker, who are a GPS pet tracking company.
Uh-huh.
We had a treat subscription service similar to what you have with BarkBox over there, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Similar to that, the Irish version. We also had Nest Cam, who do in-home cameras, so they sponsored as well.
Yes.
And then we had obviously the pet photographer, and then we had an all-natural food company that gave food as well to all the finalists and hampers to the winners. So these are all kind of premium brands. And they do get a lot of
Yeah.
exposure along with us because people are mentioning, oh, this is the competition and this is what the winner gets.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic set of prizes. It really is.
That is amazing. It's just amazing. What I like is that, you really paid attention to your why of figuring out why you wanted to do this. It was to, bring the community together, get your brand out there, not I want clients. And
Yeah.
you also weren't tacky about how you were branding it and how you put your name or photo around everything. It was it was classy, if I can say that. Um,
I think you have to be, though. I think you need to elevate yourself above what everybody else is doing.
uh-huh.
And by making it all about the pets, all about a celebration of, how the Irish love their pets, rather than, making it all about us. Obviously, we want our stuff on everything because,
Right.
it is a branding exercise.
Yeah.
But by empowering the kind of finalists, the contestants to promote their entries, you're getting them to do a lot of the marketing on your behalf.
Uh,
So that's been the really big thing for us. It's kind of, who says it better than somebody else for talking about your business than people who think you're a great brand.
so let me follow this funnel that you have, or actually, we should probably take a quick commercial break, and then I want to follow this funnel because I have something in my head. I want to ask you about it. So we'll be right back after these words. And we're back. Kate, I want to understand this funnel because the way I'm thinking you got to this 35,000 people on your Facebook page, which, gosh, is probably like almost your whole entire country, is probably not, but I mean, I'm exaggerating, is by hosting this on your Facebook page. These people are part of your Facebook page. Therefore, they know that brand. Therefore, everyone's on Facebook, 10 times a day? And your engagement is through the roof. So people are constantly seeing you and looking at you as the Mac Daddy expert of Ireland for pet care, right? Like, can you translate to our audience and make them understand the, I would imagine, enormous impact it had on the growth of your business and possibly even the franchise models that you launched a year or two ago?
A year ago, yeah. It's been huge. Like when I announced the winner this year on Facebook Live, we had 9,500 people watch that Facebook Live just to see who had won. So
My
that's
jaw is dropped for those of you who can't see me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just incredible. I think that shocked me that the amount of people that were interested in it.
Yeah.
And that was people coming on live on the night because we kind of did a big build up to it's going to be, announced live. So that's been fantastic. The growth of the Facebook page has been huge. And you can see every time we get in the papers, we do get inquiries from those areas because a lot of these would be local papers in kind of small towns. You see then as soon as we hit the papers, you get the inquiries. So we are getting inquiries out of it. I suppose what I want people to understand is this is kind of 4 years on.
Yeah.
You don't start a competition and think, wow, you're going to have all these people talking about me and thousands of inquiries.
Right.
We didn't get that much out of the first year other than the kind of brand recognition. As the years have gone on, we've grown. And I would imagine next year is going to be even bigger because it's our 5th anniversary. So that's going to be kind of a special
Well, there you go.
year
You
for
just
us.
branded it as a special and gave people a reason to think that it's special. It's a 5th year anniversary.
Exactly.
It's all about
Exactly.
branding.
So I think it's important that people, like we were talking about at the beginning, realize that there's a lot of consistency. There's been years where people have been so mean because their pet doesn't win, and then you're thinking, God, do I really want to do this again? But you have to just stick with it. You get better, you get a tougher skin, you get more slick at doing it, you come
Right.
up with new ways of promoting it.
Right.
So I think that's like a journey that you're going on. And in terms of the brand that we've created now, we're in papers like the Times. The Times is a huge newspaper. They did a massive page feature on us this year, and they actually contacted us to do the interview. Like, that's huge. You'd spend thousands well, they probably wouldn't even get in the Times. You'd spend thousands and thousands. Like, that's a huge, credible paper. And those kind of things, when you're sitting down with a franchisee and you're saying, we partner with these types of brands, we've been in these papers, we have people like Dyson sending us free vacuum
Vacuums.
cleaners to actually review on our website. That gives you a huge amount of credibility. That says to somebody that's investing their money, you're not just somebody who walks people's dogs.
Yeah.
You are a
You're a
brand.
brand.
And definitely the nose of Tralee has helped us with that because it has helped us stand out from other companies.
That's just amazing. I'm thinking of this from our listeners' perspective, and they're saying, "Okay, I'm not in Ireland. I'm in small town USA." And the first thing that comes to my mind is, you're not going to obviously be full page paper in the Times like Kate on your first year, but maybe you could take a page from Kate's book and pair it with something like a Founders Day. A lot of small towns, they have a Founders Day and they have fairs every year, and they have. I used to dance at Founders Day because I was in the local dance troupe, and everyone came out, and it was just a fun little fair. Like, think about what's going on in your area to do this. But I want to also transition in the short amount of time that we have left because, I mean, you and I could talk for so long. That's why at one point we did have our own talk show. Um, Tell me, because you are like the maven when it comes to blogging. And you mentioned, Dyson doing, asking, can you do a review? And of course, it's not just because of the nose of Trillily, but also because I'm sure they understand the page rank and the traffic and the audience that you have on your blog and your social media. But if you didn't have anywhere to take them on that social media and send them to, then you've been dead in the water. Like, what good is a Facebook page without a blog and a blog without a Facebook page? Can you expand
I
on that a little
think,
bit more?
yeah, I think blogging has been huge for us. Like it's just been kind of life changing, I
Yeah.
suppose. From the moment that we started, it's been the biggest source of traffic to our website. It's just, I think it's kind of set us aside from everybody else. There aren't many people in Ireland, especially in the pet industry, that are actually blogging or blogging very well. A lot of it's very self-serving as opposed to actually trying to help their audience.
Yes.
And I think when people look at what you're doing and see you coming up in search, they see that people are sharing your blogs, they see that people are engaging with them and commenting them on your social media. It does give you credibility. There is credibility in numbers. We're talking to the Road Safety Authority at the moment about partnering with them on a dog safety campaign. And when you actually sit down and put your kind of, we have a sheet that we send out that has all our social stats on it, our traffic, our ideal customer avatar, all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. When you send that to, when you create it, you're kind of like, wow, that does look impressive. And when you send it out to people, that's saying to them, you have an audience. These
Hmm.
are guys who we want to work with because they have a strong brand. Whenever we Google something, they're always coming up. We've seen them in the press. They've been on the
Yeah.
radio. They've been on TV. We have a podcast. We have a YouTube channel. You're kind of turning up in all these different places. And I think that's what a lot of it is about. It's showing up every day consistently with the same message, looking good. And people then want to be part of what you do. And blogging has been huge. Without all of the blogs that we've created, we wouldn't have that ability to turn up because we'd have nothing to turn up with, do you know?
Yeah.
You're just
So,
turning up with an ad saying, hire me. And
right.
people don't really want to see that all of the time.
You had just said the like awesomest thing, and I wrote it down. You said you're not self-serving, you're helping the audience. And I think that's something that all of our listeners could take to the bank right now. Thinking about, are we blogging with a purpose? Kate, the one thing that shines through to me, and hopefully to the listeners, is that you just have you're connected so strongly to your why. And that is
Mhm.
a very easy thing for your brand. You and I know that your brand isn't your logo, it's how people feel about you and think about you, and they trust you. Oh, okay, this is the Dyson, okay, or oh, this is a fun competition. They really, oh, you're doing something with the transportation, okay. And then to the community of just saying, hey guys, this is our stats. Like you can't argue with that. But it took you making that decision back in 2010, 2012, whatever it was,
Yeah.
to start blogging. And I'm sure your first blogs were hideous.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sure
Yes.
you already mentioned that your first website was atrocious. I
Oh
mean,
gosh. Yeah.
we all start somewhere. But you
Mm.
guys, this is 5 years. The date of this recording, this is like you're 7 years into your business, probably what, five
Yeah.
years into blogging. This
Yeah.
has been a commitment to consistency. And I know that you've had staff. I know that you've had bloggers and you've had change bloggers and, like all kinds of things. And I think it's a true testament to you, Kate. I'm a huge fan that
Mm.
I think when people can overcome challenges consistently as well, while
Mm.
connected to their why, it's important because you could say, I have a why. You could say, I want this brand, I want to do this. And the first challenge that comes, you get knocked down and you got to remember to get back up for your why. And
Exactly.
that's what you've done. And I love it. So, Kate, in the few minutes we have left, why don't you excite our audience with, if they really want to understand more of the woman behind the curtain and how they can tactfully do all of this stuff, how can they connect with you and get together with you?
Yeah, you can go onto my website, which is petbusinessowners.com. You'll see all the information in there about the members site. There's a load of free content and there's loads of blogs on there. There's some specific blogs about competitions as well, which gives you kind of some tips on getting started,
Yeah.
and the kind of things that you need to think about before you actually commit to it. Because there's quite a bit of planning that goes into stuff like that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the
You're
podcast today.
welcome.
Everyone, if you liked this, go ahead and comment wherever you found it. Let Kate know that, thank you for her time here with us today and to excite you and motivate you. Go ahead and even listen back to it because I'm sure there's tons of nuggets that you can really listen to again and again. Don't forget to like and subscribe on iTunes or your Android device. And remember to always keep jumping.